Hi students, welcome back to this video segment. In this case, we shall talk about exponential decay. The previous video segment, we talked about exponential growth. And in this case, we'll talk about exponential decay. Now, the formula changes a bit here. Of course, instead of having a growth factor B, we now have a decay factor. Why do we use a negative sign here? Because it is it's kind of decreasing. It's a decay factor. So if it's growing, increasing, we use a plus, increasing. If it's decreasing, decaying, we use the negative sign. So our B here becomes B is 1 minus R in this case. If you look at it, our A still becomes the initial amount. Of course, our X is our X right here. Then our B becomes the decay factor, 1 minus R. So in exponential growth, our B is the growth factor, which is 1 plus R. In exponential decay, our B is the decay factor, which is 1 minus R. Exponential growth, B is the growth factor, which is 1 plus R. Exponential decay, our B is the decay factor, which is 1 minus R. Every other thing remains the same. You still compare, you use the same principle. And of course, if you want to multiply anything by a percentage, you multiply by 100. If you want to convert anything to a percentage, you multiply by 100. Another thing that changes, two things changes here, the decay factor and then R, the rate of decay. In the exponential growth, our R was the rate of growth. But in this exponential decay, our R becomes the rate of decay. Alright, let's look at number 1. Just like we did the other time, the only difference is 1 plus R. If we compare here, if we compare ABX, y to the ABX, right? So you see that this is our A is 1.40, our X is our X, then our B is this. So our A is 1.40, our B is 0.92. And then if you now want to find your R, the rate of decay, we have that our B is 1 minus R. And then our B is also 0.92. So this means that 1 minus R is equal to 0.92. Alright, you can, there are several ways you can do this. 1 minus R equal to 0.92. I will do it my own way, then I will do it the way your teachers teach you. I'll do it the way some of your teachers do teach you, which is still correct. The way I will do this, right, there are several ways you can do this. I can move this over here. Of course, if you view my videos on linear equations, you will understand what I'm saying. You move this over here and you move this over here. So this is 1 minus 0.92 equal to R. And of course, you can rearrange it. R is 1 minus 0.92 and R should be 0.08. To percentage, you multiply 0.08 times 100. To percentage gives this, which is 8%. So, which is 8%. So R is 8%. Now, this is the way I taught it in linear equations. Another way you can do this to find R, right? Now, this is the way some of your teachers will do it. They will come here and do minus 1 here, minus 1 here, and you have negative R equal to, of course, you have 92 cents, but you owe $1. You have 92 cents, you owe $1. That means you owe 8 cents. And then when you now have this, you can now divide both sides by, they come immediately and put negative 1 here. You divide both sides by negative 1. And your R becomes 0.08, which is 8% if you multiply by 100. This is where some of your teachers will do it, and it's still correct. Yeah. Now another way you can do this, another way you can do it is that you can do it this way. Yeah, I might erase this. So this is our A, this is our B, and this is our R, 8%. Yeah. So either of these ways is fine if you understand it. Either of these ways is fine. But some other people might want to do it this way. They might want to do it like this. 1 minus R equal to 0.92, and negative R will be 0.92 minus 1. If they move it like this, negative R will now be negative 0.08, and you divide both sides by negative 1. And your R will now be 0.08 or 8%. So some people might want to do it this way. That's still okay. Right? Now let's go ahead and do 2 and 3. And if you have any questions on this, you just shoot me an email. Number 2, we have a y equal to 3.25 or 3.25 as some of you will call it, 0.95 raised to power x. So now initial amount A is 3.25, B is 0.95. Right? So let's find our rate of decay. Now our B is 1 minus R, right? And our B is 0.95. So we now have that 1 minus R is equal to 0.95. So, of course, if you move this over here, 1 minus 0.95 equal to R. So 0.5 is equal to R. So, to percentage, you now have 0.5 times 100, and that is 50%. So R is 50%. R is 50%, B is 0.95, A is 3.25. I'm sorry, this is 5%, not 50%. 1 minus 0.95 is 0.05. Sorry about that. 0.05. So which is 5%. Sorry about that. 0.05, 5%. Okay. 0.05. 0 and 1. Yeah. Right? Okay, the next one is number 3. Number 3, we have y equal to 1.05, 0.971 x. Okay, so our A is clear. Our A is 1.05, our B is 0.971. Now let's go ahead and find our rate of decay. Our B is equal to 1 minus R. B is 0.971. So 1 minus R is equal to 0.971. So 1 minus 0.971 is equal to R. Okay, now let's solve this. R is 1 minus 0.971. Of course, this will give you 0.029. 0.029. R is 0.029, which is equal to, multiply by 100, 2.9%. But let's be sure, okay, let's be sure. 1.000 minus 0.971. 10 minus 1 is 9, 9 minus 7 is 2, 9 minus 9 is 0. Yeah, 0.029. And that gives you, and when you multiply this by 100, of course, you know how to count the zeros. 1, 2, 2.9%. All right. Thank you so much, students, for listening. Thank you for listening. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. And you have a good day. Bye.